Welcome back, everybody, to LARPs and Tarps. We're back talking about E3, talking about how our Saturday went today.
Saturday.
So I don't know about you guys, but my Friday night was an early-ish night. Not as early as Kerry and Emma, but I had a fairly early Friday, but I still woke up at we went to bed about 12ish, but still woke up at 6.
Yeah, you up at the crack of dawn.
I couldn't sleep. I literally woke up and I was like, I just tried, I willed myself to sleep. You know when all the lights pouring into the tent and you're like, but yeah, and I was just basically wandering around Anvil looking for something to do before everybody else woke up.
I think I was affected by a Druge curse or something on Saturday morning because I've never been so congested in my life.
Oh my god.
I could not breathe through my nose at all.
I remember because eventually we did wake up and I came to see you.
You did, but I was like, why can't I breathe?
To be fair, it might not help that I gave Jack the bottle of insect repellent and he just went crazy with it all over the tent. I was like, you know that Tom's got asthma, right?
Oh my god.
Trying to
And he
kill
was
me
like,
off.
I was like, yeah, I probably should have told you that before I handed it to you.
Was he
You
in
just
your...
don't spray things in a tent.
Jack
Come
stayed in
on.
our
It was
tent
the
on a
night
Friday
before we
night.
sprayed.
Oh, just the
Yeah.
Friday night?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Was it, so where did Jack camp, actually?
He camped in Navarre, out of character,
Just
just
outside
behind
of
the
Anvil.
league.
Yeah, cool. So Saturday morning, I guess, as usual for Tom and I, was battle day.
Yay, battle day.
So following military council, the night before, Tristan had a little upset moment when he found out we weren't going to the Barons.
I am so gutted I did not see you
Kick off.
sulk that you're not going to the Barons. You were saying how much you would kick off. I was even going to bet you a thrown in character that, bet you were going to Zenith.
It was actually
Well, maybe
quite
a crown.
awkward to witness. I felt extremely uncomfortable.
Oh, I thought it was funny.
You were just kicking off, and I just felt like I was look, I think I exchanged a look with you, oh god,
Yeah, I was not
he's
happy.
really not happy.
I was brought. I feel like I need to say Tristan was brought round because a lot of this is obviously IC stuff. But he was brought round the next day with conversations with other generals and stuff.
What time did you find out the bad news?
Oh, it was night time the night before.
Oh, I was just wondering, because where was I in Anvil? Because that was the moment I really wanted to be. But as we know, I was quite busy.
Yeah, you were very busy. But we, I found it the night before we were going to Zenith. Bit annoyed about that, but nonetheless, I found out I made good sense the next day. Coincidentally, that's where Tristan's going to be in downtime, sending him off with the Hounds of Glory. But yeah, woke up, chilled out, got kitted up, and then had to run across to the league to get you dressed.
Yeah, like I say many times, you're probably going to get sick of me hearing this, but it's like getting a Space Marine in battle armour. I need a dedicated team to do it.
There was 3 of us all around doing the different bits.
One arm,
Realising
body armour.
that the elbow had been put in wrong, and we were like, what? How do we...
Did you feel almost like a Dornish noble? You
I
just
feel-
put your limbs out, kit me up.
This is the weird thing about Uncle Nichi. His basic costume looks kind of hobo-ish, maybe a bit classier than a marcher, but his armour looks like it's proper lordly.
Yeah, you have got really fine armour. I like to think you looted it.
I've looted it off my dead general, or a different dead general down the line, as my backstory was. I was the cobbler following military units around.
Yeah, that's true.
So I could definitely see him looting a general's
It was
armour.
just me, Jack, and Kerry, just where does this go? How does this... Oh my god, attach this, tie this.
Yeah, but one of the things I did before going to Zenith, because I heard we were fighting the Druge, I went to go and see Magpie, one of the local established characters in the league.
Was he a priest?
Mountebank.
I don't know what that is.
So a Mountebank is like a magical con man in the league.
Nice.
I love how one of your archetypes is magical con man.
Well, the question still remains, are we the bad guys? But no, Magpie, fantastic character. Absolutely adored him. Shame he's dead.
Yes, rest in peace, Magpie.
Rest in
May
peace.
his journey through the labyrinth be swift.
Let's hope so. But I went to him and I was like, do you have any potions ready? Health potions or anti-venoms? Because Kerry hadn't had hers ready yet. So I was like, shit, we're going to Zenith. I'm going to need anti-venom and I'm going to need health potions to fight the Druge. So interestingly, what he did was just handed me a massive stack of potions and said, if you use any, pay me what you think they're worth. But if you don't pay me what they're worth, I think I got the impression I would be cursed. If you sell them, bring me the price. If your friend dies in the battlefield with the stack, you have to pay for those. So it was a bit of a gamble because I couldn't.
Incredible.
One of the downsides of my pockets was I can't reach anything in my armour in Gamberson.
No, very true.
No.
So I had to give them to Mr. Salt to get the most. I kept a few on my body just in case, but Mr. Salt had the rest. And I will explain in the battle that was a bit worrying at one stage.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But yes, so went to get potions, went to pay for my anointment, because I'm not going to be the guy who dies and not pay the glorious first Spark Carter for their great anointment the night before.
So who anointed you?
The first Spark Carter in the league. So they're a new Carter built for new players, but they are based around the religious game. So the Jolly Jackdaws and them kind of have a coalition.
Okay.
If there's a fighty character, they'll send them our way. And if we come across anyone interested in a new priest game, or just a new player who will be good or interested in learning about the Empire, they'll aim to spark their ambition. So we kind of are two new groups set up at exactly the same time, based around trying to help new players out.
Oh, that's fun. That makes sense.
But they're like a level above us. They've got a fantastic tent.
Yeah.
They've got like a proper uniform and everything, and they're so lovely.
I really don't think it'll take much for you to get your tent looking primo.
Fabulous.
Like, I think if you get an awning...
I think for next year, the awning's going to be... I think you can get a decent one for 150.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get a nice table outside. It'll also be good if anything like this year, having shade.
Yes.
It
I
was
also
sweltering.
think that every morning at time in, you should place yourself outside your tent. So at time in, Nichi's just woken up, gone, "Ugh, what's going on?" and got...
It's quite funny because obviously he'd have to be in his armour at that time, so it's like he slept in his armour.
Absolutely.
Just passed out. So how was your morning of preparation? I think you were a lot quicker getting ready considering you're in chainmail.
Yeah, so I woke up, like I say, ambled around for ages. I was looking for something that morning. I think I was looking for Black Knight gear, but I couldn't find anything in the end. But I woke up, and then once we were both up, had kind of like coffee and porridge and stuff. And then it's literally just forgone my gambeson because it's too thick, and I had instead like a padded collar just to the way of my shoulders. So my kit was trousers, shirt and shoes, padded collar, chainmail, greaves, boom, ran across the field to you.
Yeah, we were going to get some shill pictures, but I didn't want to get in my armour and then nature call.
Yeah.
Which is, combat game,
absolutely.
one of the biggest things. Always make sure you have your battle toilet break before you hit the field.
Exactly. I heard someone saying that they refused to have cheese before they were going to go fighting because they didn't need to have a shit before they went
For
fighting.
me, it's coffee. It's like, come on, coffee, speed this up.
But I woke up, it's quite easy for me to get kitted up, have my belt and things. I think we should do a kit breakdown video at some point.
It'd be great, yeah.
But I did that, and then mustering in Dawn. So I've said this before, but Dawn fighting lances. So you have a lance which all have different roles in the fight. And I fight with the winged lions, which often have like a different role to a lot of Dawn.
So is a lance just a battle group?
Yeah, like a fighting unit, I guess. And the winged lions, we got there, I was like, I'm a changeling, so I don't need to be anointed. But to quote somebody from E2, an angry changeling is a dead changeling. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try it eventually. I think it'd be fun, because instead of getting weakness and scared, I get mad.
Yeah.
Which would be fun to do. But nonetheless, I got anointed with vigilance by Lady Lordine Dulac, who's one of the nobles of the houses I want to test into. Which I love getting anointed. It's always a really fun roleplay experience.
It's really good, especially if you can find a good experienced priest with a lot of confidence and can just give the gab.
It was good fun. And then we were talking about what we were going to be doing, so we got all organised, and then the leader of our lance kind of gathers us together and goes, told us what we were going to be doing. So the objective of the day was basically to kill a Druge general. And to help us with that, to help us find the Druge general, we were enlisting the help of some heralds from the Day Realm, and they were going to come do a ritual at some mines in Zenith. And once they'd done that, we would be able to identify who the Druge general was. So our job as the Winged Lions was to escort the Day Heralds across the battlefield to the mines without them getting harmed.
Did they try and wander off like the stereotypical NPC missions of old?
I will tell you what they tried to do. It was frustrating in character, very fun game. But we literally...
Exactly like an escort mission then from a video
It
game.
literally was. They kept just... Oh, I'll get to it. But we kind of went to the Sentinel Gate, got all prepped, and
what time was this?
This was... so mustering was at 10. We probably set off at about 20 past, 10:30.
10:30, and what time was the battle?
It probably kicked off at
11ish.
Yeah, it kicked off at 11.
Yeah.
And unlike the Sunday battle, it lasted for a good amount of time.
Yeah, we'll get into Sunday on
Yeah.
Sunday, but you're in for a treat for that one.
Because we weren't smeared like butter on toast. But we got got together, got to the Sentinel Gate. I said goodbye to you, and then whilst I was having like our kind of like getting ready for the fight, getting hyped up, Lupita's wandering potions came over to me. So what had you been doing that morning after you got this man dressed?
So as soon as time in hit, I got out my little potions box, which has my little pestle and mortar and little fizz reps for all my herbs and potions that I was going to make. I got out my ingredients list and just basically started role-playing making the potions. So I was trying to pour the specific herbs that I needed, like looking into my recipe book, looking, oh yes, I need this and this, pouring those into the pestle and mortar, and then just sitting there and,
Doing your thing.
bashing it together a little bit. It was quite nice. It felt a bit awkward at first, but then it was kind of therapeutic, just sort of like spinning it around the mortar.
I do love the effort you've put into your little sales
box. Yeah.
container.
It's
It
so
looks
cute.
great. You should check it out on Instagram, anyone who's interested, because
Yeah.
it's so cute and well organised.
I love it.
Yeah, I love that photograph. Because
Yeah.
you just look adorable.
No,
Your little box.
I think you've also got a look of like... there's a look on your face of almost mischief. Of just kind of like...
Yeah.
Do you know what that look is? That look is don't close your eyes, don't squint in the light. Because it was so bright. It was so hard not to squint my eyes
It
in
looked
the
to
light.
me like a look of like, this will be a good deal for one of us and probably not you.
Well, I'm glad it worked out that way. But yeah, so after I'd gone through in each potion that I wanted to make individually, pouring in the right herbs and bashing around my little pestle and mortar for a little bit, I'd put everything pretty much back in the tent and took the cards that I needed and things to God Tent, because you need to swap it in to get the potions.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd taken my list of potions and what I needed, and I'd ordered my little herb cards so that I knew exactly what I was giving them. I got there, I waited in line for a little bit, and then when I got to the front, I found out that you need to take your player passport in order to make the potions, because you have to prove that you can make them. So the lady was very nice, and she let me do all of my like basic potions that you'd get without unlocking any extra potions. But there were a couple that I was still making, so I went back and got my passport. Fortunately, I wasn't in the line too long.
I would have thought that if you just had your player ID, they could like see it on the system, but
Yeah, they don't have like computers up at that bit. They just have it's all organised. So
you.
there are computers there, but not at the bit where they were giving out the potion cards. So yeah, I'd come back again, but I wasn't waiting too long. It wasn't too bad. They're very nice about it.
Is the player passport just that sheet of paper they give to you at the
Yeah.
end? Because that always ends up at the bottom of my bag,
exactly.
crumpled up.
You don't need to worry about it. These two do.
I was gonna say I think your twos are really empty. I think it literally just says like a couple of like key skills
It says
you
the
have.
skills we've got, yeah.
You should just literally say beat stick.
So the player passports come in your player pack when you first arrive. So that was one of the things we did on Friday before time in. We went to the God Tent and got our player packs. You'll get any resources. So I got some herbs, a bit of money, and a piece of paper which I thought was useless, but turns out is very important. So it's a good thing I didn't just shove it in the bin.
Remember, folks.
After all of that debacle, which yes, I felt like I needed to make an amendment to the apothecary episode because I hadn't actually mentioned that because I didn't know about it, but we live and learn. So after I had managed to get all my potions together, I went to the tent to get my fizz reps, my little wandering shop cart thing, and then I wandered up to the battlefield. I thought that you'd have already gone in, but then I saw you and I was like, Tristan wanted a health potion.
And Tristan has left his coin purse at his tent.
Which was very funny because Lupita probably shouldn't like embarrass me.
We
made an
wrote
arrangement.
a contract.
We wrote a contract so that he would give me back later, which was Funny, the second time I saw him, the coin was still in his tent. The third time I saw him after that, he was in his tent. So I was like, aha, I've got you now.
I did remember you saying, "Oh, Tristan, you left your coin somewhere else this
Is
time."
it a different tent?
No, I have it here. Just give me. I'm currently putting my antlers back on. Leave me alone.
I love the indignation on
Night
Tristan's face
No.
all the time. But yeah, so after I'd sold off that potion to Tristan, he informed me that Esty would be somewhere nearby. So I had a little look in the crowd, couldn't find you, but just thought I'd wait until everyone went in and bumped into you straight after. And then we went to get... Is that when we went to get newspapers for the crossword to sit in the tea room?
Yeah, I think you already had your newspaper and we went to the Brass Coast.
Yeah, one of the
shop.
tea rooms in the Brass Coast.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it's called now, which is no good, is it?
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head either.
I'm sorry we can't advertise your tea shop. It was very nice.
You know, we'll go there again next time and then we'll ask you if you want us to say the name, which I'm sure is fine too.
Yeah.
But so after that, you kind of like whilst we were away, I guess, because we met you in Moorish. What did you do between?
Oh, well, we had tea and we sat with the crossword. Found out it was a cryptic crossword, which even in real life we would have had no idea. Yeah, so we had no idea. We then bumped into my Brass Coast friend
Who was an absolute genius.
Yeah, he
might I
recommended me the newspaper for the crossword. So I was asking him, how do you do this? And he gave us an example of a couple of the answers and some tips on how to do them. So we were able to actually do a couple of them after that.
Yeah, so I think he's won it twice now.
Yeah,
So
'cause-
I think it's the person who does it the
Completes it.
quickest and hands it back in gets a prize. And yeah, he's won it
Yeah.
twice. He was struggling this time though,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
he was. Yeah, so I felt a little bit better about that. But the prize this time was 2 crowns and a bottle of Crimson Reaper wine. That was worth 6 crowns. So, but yeah, then we just wandered down to Moorish and thought we'd get some food in before everyone came back from battle, and it got really busy, and also sort of reserve a table for you guys. And we sat there hoping, I wonder if they're alive.
It's crazy that battle's only an hour.
Yeah,
Because it feels like you're there for hours.
That might be
'cause you-
because we're so unfit.
it's because you're lining up for about an hour beforehand as well.
Yeah, but it's also whilst you're there, you're just like, oh my god. So
Shall we go into the battle? For me, actually, I did get up. We assembled the national block in the centre of the league, and that's when I had a heartbreaking discovery. The enchanted armour I had expired at that point.
Oh no.
Because, unfortunately, I was meant to get it bonded beforehand, went to battle thinking it had been bonded in E1. Turns out the guy had died before bonding it. So I did count it as I had the extra hit points for that one, because I thought, that's only really kind of fair.
The experience I've had a lot of the time in the field is like you can get someone to bond it, and technically within the rules you shouldn't use it, but a lot of people just like, just do it afterwards, it'll be fine.
But this time when I found out, the thing had expired because someone was going around registering it, I thought I should officially register it.
Yeah.
And she said, that's expired, which was a bit gutting, but
That
I'm not
sucks.
going to cheat. When I know it's officially expired, I'm down back to 6 hit points.
Yeah. And then we went through the Sentinel Gate, cheering and singing, and
Were you the first ones through, or was it Navarre who's...
Dawn. I think Dawn was the first through the gate, but I'm not sure.
You were very close to it when I saw you.
Yeah, I think Dawn was first through the gate and then the first thing we literally did was we met the Day Heralds. So we'd been going up to the thing like, right, we have to find these Day Heralds. We come on the field. Oh, we found them. And they were these kind of people. They were all dressed in white. They had strange markings on their faces. And they were very like, hello, yeah, nice to meet you, yes. It's a jolly good day. Looking forward to slaughter some Druge. And they were being very kind of like standing there looking. There was 3 of them, that we had to escort across.
Were they all prim and proper then?
Yeah, very much so. Very well spoken. And it was a case of getting them to the right places. And I was given one to look after specifically, who I had to leave behind very early on at mine. I was like, as everyone left, I was like, are we just leaving this herald and protectors? Like, it's Highguard's responsibility. I'm like, cool, they're not here.
Highguard just not doing their job.
They came along eventually, it was fine, and I ran off. But I was like, I don't want to leave a herald that I've been told to protect alone to die. But also because I had been anointed with vigilance, and I roleplayed that. I don't speak very much. I just spent a lot of time kind of looking around. So I was very much like, well, it wouldn't be very vigilant of me to just leave this woman by herself.
So did you miss a lot of the battle because you were off on the escort mission?
Well, we were in the thick of it at the start. So the first thing that happened was we moved to engage the Druge. Went through a gate, and there'd already been some engagements. So the Druge had already taken some of them on. We had these heralds, we were kind of sticking in the back, and we had to protect them. So we were watching the fighting going on. I kept pointing out where people were, like Druge were trying to slip through. And then it was, I think, the leader of the lance turns to us all and goes, right, I've asked them to punch a hole through the lines, but they haven't. So you picked 5 of us. So it was me, Lord Dulac, Earl Dulac, Lady Lordine Dulac, and Viridian, who is the mage of that house. He went, you 4, come with me. We're going to punch a hole through the lines. So everyone was kind of fighting. We were like, right, we need to get through. And we just, like, ran, trying to, like, break a hole through. But then we ended up being pulled back, so it was a bit of a nightmare. We kept trying to just break through because we had to get past the lines and pull the heralds through, but make it secure enough. So at the start, a lot of the fighting was just us being like, heralds, stay there. We need to get past, and we need to get them to move the Druge in this direction. So yeah, I think we did a fair amount of fun at the start. Got to cut down and execute quite a few at the start, which is always good fun. And we looted a magical sword.
Yeah, I'm so jealous you got that.
So I get to use cleave using my hero points, which is nice because I can get hero points back, so I can just...
It does stop you having to buy the cleave skill, which is very good.
For like a full year, so that's pretty good. Because it was a full one, and we got it tested later. It was made by the Druge as well, so it was really good. But what about yourself? What was your experience as the tiny league national block?
I think this was the biggest the national block's been in a long time. I think we had about 48 people in it, which doesn't sound big compared to Wintermark and a lot of other nations, but for the league national block, it's big. Just a reminder to people, a big thing about League Brief, people can split off and join mercenary companies. So a lot of our nation could actually be fighting on the Sunday battle rather than the Saturday. But fighting in the national block, it was brilliant again this time. So because our nation was so small, I believe we were once again the last to march through the Sentinel Gate. So when we were marching in, the battle was already in full swing, kind of. I was surprised we did not run into any Drugish resistance. Drugish? Yeah, that probably sound right.
Druge resistance, yeah.
Druge resistance. Druge resistance when we entered the field. It was only when we got into the forest through that tiny corridor gap that we really started to feel resistance.
Yeah.
So I remember we punched into the forest, started pushing the Druge back, but something must have happened because once we got in, it felt like the Druge numbers suddenly swarmed.
Yeah.
And every nation that was through that gap was pushed into a massive kind of, oh god, we're completely surrounded.
Yeah.
And the Druge really pushed us back. Out of the 48 who went into that forest from the League, only 8 got back across, including myself, from that initial pushback.
Yeah.
And when I tell you going through that tiny thin corridor was a crush, you are truly crushed. You don't have anywhere to move. Huge respect for the refs for being able to stand there and take like accidental hits in the face just because you can't move. You're going with the body motion.
I think one of the most frustrating things talking about the Druge pushing for me, I'm not a military strategist by any stretch, but a lot of the times I found we were holding lines and as they pushed, people fell back.
Yeah.
And it's like, just stand where they don't have pole arms. They can't get any close. Just stand where you are, and if they come, smack them. But literally, people would like, I would be like, the general shouting hold, and would be standing there with shields, getting ready. I looked to my left, and 10 people had gone. I'm like, stop, get healed. And it was really frustrating to just watch them keep pushing and pushing. It's like, if we stand here, we'll be. It was frustrating. But like I said, I'm not a strategist. I might be talking out my arse, but it just felt annoying to watch people fall away behind you, and you're like, just don't. Because if you do that, we're going to get encircled.
So I think that's like in the first 15 minutes of the battle, I'm already going to a healer for healing at that point.
Yeah.
Like I say, I was lucky to get back behind the lines because I think a lot of our folks were behind enemy lines now on their dying counters, which is like, right, we've got to get back through them, or we're not going to get the block back. But because there's only 8 leaguers, we couldn't punch it through. So I believe in the after-battle meeting, I heard Dawn tried to crack it twice. I think one lance charged in and was repelled within 30 seconds, something like that. Then another lance went in, same thing happened. I think whilst this was going on, Navarre wanted you guys out of the way so they could cast a mass repel.
So I know they literally opened the fight with a mass repel. So Dawn arrived, someone cast mass repel, and boom, the Druge all got kicked back. I don't know about getting...
I think that's what I heard the second time. It was that mass repel that got us back through to heal the troops. But this is the thing about battles. Us two just being little foot soldiers in the battlefield, we only get it in piecemeal little bits.
I think it was really funny because at one point, like I say, it was the main line, Druge, and then 5 Dornish, me included, on the other side, being like, that hole is closing behind us. We need to get back through because otherwise we're not going to do what we need to do.
Yeah, once we pushed through the hole and got our troops back, then the League was in a much better form.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of the next little bit, we were holding flanks and formations whilst everyone else was looking for these heralds and making sure the ritual happened.
It's really funny to think that whilst this is going on, you two are having tea and doing a crossword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not the whole time.
No.
We didn't spend the entire hour doing that.
Whilst those two are sweating like motherfuckers.
It just feels so weird that those two things are happening simultaneously. They're like, we're doing this, and you're like, oh, have you got 4 across?
It does feel very much like when will my husband return from war. Like it's a little bit kind of like, it's always in the back of your mind that it's going on.
Yeah.
It was great though for me seeing the sawtooth even in the sawtooth formation even in the forest work. So for those who don't know what that is, we have pole arms and bucklers and swords are the main weapons in the League. So the way we stand is sword and buckler, pole arm, sword and buckler, pole arm, and do that along the line. So at some stages, the pole arm can step forward and the sword and buckler comes back, or vice versa. I harry them with a pole arm, whilst the other two then charge in when there's an opportunity to get them. It's a really good way of pulling back and retreating. And seeing that formation work in the forest was just so great to see.
I think we need more of this in Dawn, because I feel like it's like every Lance fights independently about. I've not seen any Lance training. Doesn't mean it's not happening, I guess, but it would be good for us to have more stuff like that.
And I was proud of us in a forest doing a backwards left turn as a wheel formation and holding up so strong.
Yeah.
I think that's what saved us at the beginning. I think that's where the League really comes into its own, especially the National Block. We may not have the numbers, but we do the training.
So eventually after this point, we have punched a hole through. So the wing lines have got through, and we've got these 2 heralds. So we left one behind who's being defended by Urizen Highguard, and we've gone through. We've got 2 more who literally just kept wandering off and trying to give advice to the battlefield. They kept walking forward going, you close the hole. There's Druge coming through there. This is terrible. You need to move over, like trying to give advice. And we were like, heralds, we need to leave. I was like, give me a moment. And then eventually we kind of like escorted them through, and they were kind of like, brother, what do you think they're doing? Oh, brother, I think this. It was very funny to just be like, yep, cool, come on.
I would very much like to be a herald.
Yeah,
that
I think
sounds
that'd be
like
fun.
such good fun.
Yeah.
Like just to be there, like witnessing it all and just taking the piss at the same time.
Yeah.
So funny. I mean, it would be. I think it would be really fun to crew to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the dedicated skirmish crew, though.
I think so. But then we got through, and there was this basically. It was like we'd gone past the fighting, like it was kind of quieting behind us.
That must have felt really ominous, like a Druge could appear at any moment.
Fully, like you're kind of looking around through that, and again, anointed by vigilance, I'm just kind of going, looking left and right constantly as we're going through. And then at one point we've got like a fence next to us, so we're safe. Fence turns into bushes, and you're like, oh, there could be Druge in those bushes. As we're walking through, kind of keeping an eye out. Keep an eye left, eye right, what's going on? Where is everyone? They could come in there. The herald's also saying, oh, just, I think that the Druge could come through there. They're hard to see in the grass. It's like, yes, thank you very much. Keep pushing through it until eventually we get to this mine. And kind of we get there, which it was like a set of like trestle fences kind of organised. And the 2 standing there, and I'm like then defending it. And out of the corner of my ear, out of one ear, as I'm kind of looking around, I hear, Tristan of the Tulips. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. I look over.
Is that your Nichi?
Well, yeah, if I do it any louder, I'll break the microphone. I see I see Nichi march towards it with his helmet. I was like, fucking hell. Nichi.
Oh, still alive.
Here he is again.
But before that, is another really proud league moment we had, because we got to send to the mines, but to get to the mines from our side, we had to punch through this Druge fort. And that was fantastic, because I think it was so textbook. We captured the fort without casualties in about 2 minutes.
That's
maybe
impressive.
5. But it was like pikes at front, swords behind. We're going to harry them back into the fort, and then we're just going to take the fort. And there was 2 bridges, so there's like 2 gates to come through. I went for the bridge one, and that's when I took my first strike down.
Oh.
Practicing what I preached, I went right down on my arse. And I think someone found me after the battle afterwards and said, I don't think I've heard a louder clank at Empire before, because I just went straight down. And I'm wondering if getting up too fast from that strike down is what's bugging my ankle.
Yeah, so listeners, Tom is currently walking around with a cane.
I've had to take a few days off work because I've pulled a tendon, I believe.
A cane that Tom obviously already had. Like
Yeah.
a fucking black silver-topped cane, which you finally have a legitimate reason to use that you've
Yeah.
been staggering around the house with.
The strange looks I got at A&E yesterday when I was limping around like house.
Oh,
It's
that's
just living around with
amazing.
your black and silver-topped cane in a purple hoodie. It's just like...
Yeah, thank God I had the cane. But yeah, we punched through this fort. I think we've got compliments from the refs as well, because we were driving them back, but not too far that it would be dangerous from the other players, because we drove them right back to the out-of-character barbed wire fences. And thank God no one got too keen to push them back. So we got a lot of compliments from that. We also got a lot of compliments because it was noted that League was just taking the calls.
That's good.
So that's always a very nice compliment to have. But yeah, after punching through that fortress, who do I see out the corner of my eye but Tristan of the Tulips? And it was a great character moment. I wanted to see you on the battlefield and have a small little
I think
interaction.
it was so funny because you've been anointed with ambition, so you were kind of barreling around, being like, "Oh, we'll do it. This is great. Look what I've done, guarding heralds." And I was with Virtue. I was just going, "Yep, cool. Yeah, sorry, I'm just keeping a lookout." And you just kept talking. I was like, "Very good, Nichi."
It was the perfect character interaction. You did it so well. I think you had the need to apologise.
I spoke to you later. I was
afterwards.
like, just so you know, I wasn't being rude then. I was very much like, I'm under an aura. I need to be using this.
I wasn't being rude. Tristan was being rude.
Yeah. Well, even that, it was like a magical effect. It's like,
Yeah, I
I
know, I'm
am...
only kidding.
I like to think we played off the effects so well, but it was
Yeah,
just
it was good
so
fun.
fun that I got to run into you whilst guarding a
was
herald. Like,
fun.
what are you doing here?
like-
Oh, we're guarding heralds. How much we have moved up in the world, old chap.
It was really funny. I really enjoyed it.
But then I got called back to the league national block, and
Yes.
we went to guard your flanks. I think we got to have a water break whilst the ritual was finished, which was very much
The
appreciated. at that
ritual was
point.
cool to see. I was thinking to myself, but these rituals have to happen simultaneously. How do they know? And I was like, there was a ref there with a microphone. I was like, oh, okay. That's how they know. And then we heard that basically the Druze General had been highlighted. We had to find them. And we were like, right, time to go back. We marched back. And unfortunately, our banner holder twisted her ankle on the way back. And had to be carried off. I think she's alright. Still, her pride was hurt more than anything else. It was really uneven ground. But then we had to escort the heralds back. So we're still in the woods, marching back. And we get to this point where we're like, we need to get through, we need to leave. And the heralds go, can we stay and watch? And we're like,
No.
yeah, fine, of course, yeah, sure, of course. So we get through, and literally there is a tree stump with a bit of elevated ground, and one of them, we'd lost him. We're like, where's he gone? Look, he's standing on this tree stump with his hand on the tree, just watching. He's like wanting to see some Druze get murdered. And then he goes, where's your archer? And we're like, oh, he's over there. He goes, bring him here now, quickly. And we're like, archer, and he was like, what? And ran forward, and he was like, fire your arrow there. And then he literally fired arrows into the Druze line. I was like, oh yes, very good. And then stood down, we walked off. It was so funny just trying to keep these two alive that just wanted to be in the fight to watch it.
That just reminds me, one of the weapons I was jealous of in the field was one of the leaguers had a little crossbow.
Oh yeah.
It was a hand one, but because of safety rules, he had to hold it with two. And I just remember in the initial stage of the battle, just after we made it through, we were holding the line against these Druze. So we're like, right, we'll cover you. You take pot shots at them with the crossbow, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, archery looks fun, but I just don't think I can do it.
I couldn't
It's
afford it.
the cost, yeah.
And
I think it's 4 points to take archery as well.
yeah,
Oh,
there's
really?
there's rituals which can enable you to have the archery skill for a time, but yeah, so then we kind of pushed back, and then essentially the Druge had been more or less dealt with. Well, we got out, and then I hear, when I say we got out, I mean our winged lions got out because we had other business to attend to. I hear a retreat call was made and not everybody heard it.
Yes, they forgot to inform the league again.
Well, yeah.
So once again, the league national block was forgotten, and well, we came marching out of that woods. Probably a good thing we did, because we ended up helping the Navarre healer block, which was one of the last ones out, by going round the Druges behind and outflanking them. Unfortunately, this drew the attention of the Druge too well, and then the entirety of the Druge went from the Navarre block to the League National block, which was... This was such intense fighting.
Happened,
This is when... Well, there was a point where one Leaguishman went down, and me and Mr. Salt went to try and save him with a couple of others. We went in, and 2 seconds later, it's like, where have 50 Druge come from? We are completely surrounded. And that was the point I burnt through 3 hero points in the space of 60 seconds.
For Unstoppable?
For Unstoppable, because I went, right, I'm down, gotta get back up, got downed again, got back up, downed again, back up. But I got up just in time to kind of scramble away with enough hit points into the Navarre healer block.
Were you on the floor?
Well, I got down 3
You
times.
don't have to go down if you use Unstoppable.
No, you do have to go down
Well-
before you get... Yeah.
Well, I was like, got to a knee to kind of active hurt me type of thing.
Because when Unstoppable's triggered, when you go to 0, you can straight away...
I kind of don't want players constantly hitting me whilst...
No, that's more than fine. Just because I don't want people to think they have to go... If you get hit to 0, you can immediately go, I'm unstoppable!
I feel like it just looks a bit more realistic than I'm unstoppable! I'm unstoppable!
Oh, there was a lot of 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay, which looked more like half a second of appropriate roleplay, which kept winding me up. I'm like, it's 5 seconds. You've got to take time to do this.
5 seconds for Unstoppable.
Yeah, so a lot of the effects need 5 seconds of appropriate roleplay. So it's like 5 seconds to drink a potion, 5 seconds to do Relentless. But a lot of people go, I'm good, and run off. And it's like, you have to take the time to do it.
Yeah, that's why I try to... From this battle, I have learned how hard it is to track how many hits you've taken. And also tally up in your head, have you got enough hero points left to do this thing? Because I admit, at one point I was down for a couple of seconds, like, oh, I'm dead. Oh, no, wait, I've got a couple more hero points left. Yeah. I don't want to come across as cheating, but just because there's so much going on in your head and around you, it takes a couple of seconds to work it out. Just try and play the game as honestly as you can. That's all you can really do. But thank God I managed to have enough hero points to crawl my way out into Navarre hero block. I felt like a coward because Mr. Salt went down. It's like, no, Mr. Salt! But I'm down to 1 hero point. I'm on like 1 hit point. I've got to crawl away.
And he's your bodyguard.
He's my bodyguard. But admittedly, an in-character thought was, shit. Before thinking about him, it's like, he's got all the potions. I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Oh, it's so
funny. Because there was a few thrones worth of potions in that
that's
bag.
where your head went. You went, oh no, I'm going to be killed.
Nichi very much follows the virtue of loyalty as loyalty to himself.
It's like all my, pay attention to the way. It's like, oh, this is really good. Forget to turn the other page, like, and everyone else.
Yeah.
So, luckily I managed to find a Navarre healer. Really had a lot of fun acting that out. Because, like, where do you want the injection? Put it straight in my neck, because it's the only free part of me.
Yeah.
It's like, relocate my arm. And it was a lot of fun roleplay. Thankfully, we managed to get everyone back and pull the national block out so we didn't have too many casualties.
And Mr. Salt survived in the end.
Mr. Salt survived, and that was pretty much our battle. And my God, I just want to applaud the Druge for giving such of a hellish fight.
I think my last moment of the fight was me, Lady Lildine, and Viridian wasn't with us at this point, but we saw a Druge running away, and we were like, no survivors? No survivors. And we sprinted towards this Druge who had the pole arm and was like harrying us. We were trying to get around. It was really difficult. And then Viridian, I just hear cackling out like from behind me. Viridian, the spring mage, like he runs over with his staff, runs up to this guy who lifts his pole, and Viridian goes, "Shatter!" on his weapon. The guy looks at it and obviously renders his weapon useless. The druid looks at his weapon and goes, "Fuck!" And then near Lady Lodian goes, and he's just like, "Oh fuck!"
I
goes to the ground.
I did enjoy fighting the Druid because it did give me the excuse to execute. You feel dirty doing it to a Jotun.
Yeah,
But a Druid's just like, "See you in hell, motherfucker."
Forward to the abyss. And then we came back and
Moorish.
I do love the Leagueish general though. Gabriel Barros, like, I know we've taken a hell of a battering, but before we go through that gate, Leaguemen, form up, go through with your swagger.
excellent. Oh, so good.
I woke up about 8 o'clock. Morgan was wandering around the tent, apparently being quiet as possible, even though I had earplugs in, so he literally just could have tidied up the tent, but didn't, because he thought I would hear him.
Yeah, I
which
was
funny.
making my life as the hardest possible, like moving stuff. I was like, I don't want to wake it. And then you were like, I've got earplugs in.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can't hear a thing. I tend to go off a bit later than everyone else because I need my sleep. And then saw Morgan / Tristan go off to his, what's it called?
Mustering.
And I kind of did some stitching outside the tent and a bit of reading, which is captured on camera, which I was really pleased about.
Yeah, there's a picture of you from the event, which was really good.
Yeah. I did a bit of that outside the tent. And then I was kind of thinking, gosh, this mustering is taking a long time. And Morgan told me he was going to come back for me. And I see him like in the far distance, just like walking off to battle. So I had to like run after him. And I was just shouting, "Tristan! Tristan!" And everyone else is like looking at me except Tristan. So I felt like a right fool.
I am very sorry.
I managed to catch up to you eventually, and then it was kind of like, oh, well, I'm going into battle, so you're going to have to, like, leave me here. So everyone was kind of, like, queued around one side, so I had to go around to the other side to kind of stay out of the way. Kind of watched people go into battle, asked if I knew a bumblebee. Don't know if that was a code for something.
I believe that means referee.
Because I was asking people that. I was like, what's this whole thing about a bumblebee? I was
I think that's the slang term because they're dressed in yellow and black.
that makes so much more sense now.
That's so good. I did not.
Oh, really?
I was like, no.
I think they like to be called referees, but if someone says bumblebee, they're probably talking about a ref.
So everyone clear go off into battle.
How does it feel as a non-com watching the rest of us fools march off to get beaten up with foam weapons for an hour?
It feels quite scary. Like, I really don't like to be anywhere near anybody who's carrying a weapon. Yes. I'm literally like, I don't want to accidentally die because I have absolutely like no combat skills whatsoever. I have nothing like, I don't know what did you call it before?
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I don't have any stuff like that. So like I could just get like cut down by accident and just die.
Because people just walk around with their swords unsheathed.
Yeah, and you're just there like, oh.
I like to think unless it's like a proper stabbing motion.
Well, like Tom accidentally hit me with it, and he was like, "It's all right, it was blunted." And then later on, Jack accidentally hit me with it.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure if my character should be dead right now.
And Jack turned to you and said, "That wasn't."
Yeah.
I always get hit in the leg by people's swords and stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Well, I think if it's sheathed, it's like if it's in the
in the holster, then you pretend it's sheathed. Yeah.
And then everybody cleared off and went to battle, and had a very short walk around, and in the clearing was Lupita, which was nice.
A nice little habit of appearing.
Yeah.
You do, you really do.
Literally, you just have to think about Lupita, and she just appears. It's great.
With her wares.
Yeah. And then we went to the tea rooms, didn't we? And we had caramelized biscuit coffee.
Oh yeah.
It smelled like caramelized biscuit. Didn't really taste of it.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be sweeter, and it smelt really sweet, but
yeah,
it was nice, but it's just
I've
not
still
quite.
yet to experience any of the tea rooms at Andal.
Terrible.
You're missing out.
I'll drag you to Lumi's next time.
Yeah, Lumi's is really good.
They also do alcohol.
Oh, good. I'll put alcohol in the tea.
Gross, but fine.
And yeah, to be honest, it was caffeine, so we didn't really care, did we?
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
just like,
We were quite happy
we just
drinking
need
it.
coffee.
And
yeah.
that's when I found out that the remaining bottle of my insect spray had leaked throughout my
God,
entire bag,
yeah.
and I was looking after
All
some
of my
Nichi's
new
stuff.
coin purse.
Yeah. Fortunately, all of my valuables were in like different zip pockets, and it was just his stuff that was
your
destroyed.
coin purse will never be attracting insects then?
No,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You know, it's perfect.
I was saying it's almost like you can like dab it on you. Like, from a coin
I
purse.
never take my valuables onto the battlefield.
No, he always leaves them with me. Don't mug me if you see me during battle.
Even if you're playing a barbarian, please remember to leave
Yeah.
your coins in your tent because players can loot them.
Yeah.
Even Salt left some of his stuff with me as well in that last battle.
Oh,
Well, I told them
very
that rule
trustworthy.
just before we went to battle, so I was like, right, I'm going to put all the pouch, but I think that was a Sunday.
Of course, you can trust a freeborn. Who can you trust if not a freeborn?
True. But it will come at a price. It might come at the price of your whole coin purse,
Yeah,
depending
exactly.
on how long you've been left in
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
And then we met a lovely individual with a puppet.
Yes, Derek.
And
I don't remember
Derek.
the name of the person who was...
Yeah, I can't
the
remember.
puppeteer,
But
but-
I did enjoy Derek.
Yeah.
He has 2 masks, like a doctor's kind of witch doctor's mask.
Yeah, and,
And
there's
then
that,
a really
that
creepy
skull, like
skull.
bird skull mask.
Yeah. So we met Derek, which was a delight. We did a little bit of the cryptic crossword. I
Yeah.
think we mostly chatted in the tea rooms.
Yeah,
didn't we? We did a bit
basically.
later.
We mostly chatted about how we rubbish at cryptic crosswords. And had a little look, and there was an article about an orc baby, so we fawned over that as well a little
Yeah.
bit.
Oh yeah, we went to Moorish and kind of like camped out there and kind of let people know that we were there. So we had a table for when after battle, and we thought everyone would be starving, so
Yeah.
we kind of reserved the
Mm.
table for everyone to eat. Again, I did a little bit more stitching. We tried to think of some songs to advertise Lou Peters'
Yes,
shop,
of
which was
course.
funny.
Yeah, and then while you were sort of calculating your runes and materials, I had a wander to
Yeah.
gather everybody.
Yeah, I was sort of making notes on like what materials I'd need for certain items. And Moorish is a really nice space just to kind of overhear other people's conversations as well.
Mm.
Like I do find that
You
really
like people
entertaining.
watching at Anvil, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's just because like you overhear like in-game gossip.
Yeah.
Or even just
Some people have some real drama, considering it's all
Yeah.
just, obviously it's pretend. We're not under any illusion it's not pretend. But people get really into it and really invested in like making their lives more soap opera-ish.
yeah, it can be really
I
really
love-
great to listen to.
I love that there's this drama and all seriousness in Moorish, but there's this weird hybrid that's kind of out OC as well, because Mr. Tristan here got the green 69,
I did get a green
Hey,
69
yeah.
slip.
which they insist on a
Sorry,
cheer.
To clarify, when you order your food, you get a slip of paper that's a certain colour and has a number on it, and they'll call out orange 5 or whatever your number and your colour is, and that was Tristan's item number, the green 69. So
Does that
obviously
mean
the
you're-
entirety of Moorish applaud at the number 69 because they're all
Yay!
very mature adults.
Does that mean you're new to the 69? Is that why it's green?
I mean, perhaps.
Or does
Let's
it mean
just
he's
hold
ready
it's
to
not
go?
a mouldy 69.
Oh, gross.
So, yeah.
Why?
I guess, and then we rocked up. Well, I didn't rock up at first, because
No, I ran around trying to fetch people, and you were the last person I was able to find. I think you had to get a message for your sending stone.
Yes, I did. So I came back from battle, and I basically wanted to check everyone was still alive. So I didn't get to Moorish straight away, because I went back to Dawn because I wanted to check everyone was still alive.
Because one of your friends died, didn't they?
And I was very curious as to where my friend Roderick was. And I was looking for it, and I asked around, and everyone was saying stuff. I had a few conversations, which I can't mention here, with people, and then people were saying things like they hadn't seen Roderick. The last thing he saw, he was protecting Captain Charge, and the last thing Charge saw was Roderick on the floor. And
They
hadn't seen him
thought
since.
he might have been captured, didn't
And we
they,
were
at that point?
very, very stressed. We were like, where's he gone? No one's seen him. And just didn't see him. I was getting very worried. I was getting like, where the hell's he gone? Wandered around, like I say, had a few shush conversations with people. And then met you all at Moorish.
I will say, from this battle, I think the next skill I'm going to have to invest in is an extra point of fortitude. So I got the flat 3 minutes. But after seeing how so many people got cut off behind enemy lines...
In my opinion, my very humble 3 event opinion, if you've not been picked up in 3 minutes, are you going to be picked up in 3 and a
I
half?
think you could be, because
I would rather, because there's rituals out there which can give you a boost. I would rather seek someone out for a ritual, get them to cast it on me, than leave, because I've got someone who hopefully will be able to cast some rituals on me.
you see, I'm torn between Dreadnought, which only gives you 1 extra hit point, which is going to go like that. But Fortitude is going to be the one that keeps you alive longer if you want a long-lasting character.
I think hero points. I personally think
I've
that's
already
where
got
it's at.
4, including my sword.
Yeah, but because I now have got 3. I know somewhere I can get them all back if I spend 15 minutes chilling. I have a potion to get 1 back, and I'm like, this can bring me back from being on the floor. This can restore limbs. Whereas, like, if I've been, I think it's the kind of thing where it's like, if I've been down for 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 30 seconds might not make a difference. And if I've been hit 7 times, being hit 8
I thought
times
it goes up to
is
4 minutes.
no 30-second increments, I think.
I could have sworn it's a
You'll have
minute.
to have
a full
Could be wrong.
minute?
It would be a full minute, but it's 10 seconds if it's you're venomed.
Yes, I think you might be right. That might be why I'm getting confused.
I think an extra 60 seconds is a big.
I think a minute's quite a long
Invest-
time.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
battle,
it's
isn't
quite
it?
a long time. But so is 3 minutes. The only thing I'm thinking is if you're behind enemy lines, but if it's at the start and they push back through again.
Exactly, that's my fault, because that 3 minutes or extra time there was what we needed to get through, and I think people were down to 30 seconds.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that was kind of like Saturday morning. After that, I made my way back to Moorish to meet with you guys, have some food. Met a Leagueish chap that you knew.
Yes, I'm terribly sorry. I can't remember your player name, which is terrible, because I know you're going to be joining the Jolly
This is the
Jackdaw
one with the green
cartel.
and black.
Yeah, our green and black friend who's going to be leaving the Crimson Reapers to join us, I believe, which is a nice little compliment for us.
Glory to the Jackdaws.
Glory to the Jackdaws, and I think they'll be able to find a lot more gameplay with us and like inspire the building of the guild from the ground up, because it's a lot we need to do.
It seems
And it's a
quite-
good opportunity for new players or old players to put an established
Yeah.
mark on our guild rather
Yeah.
than be a member of an established guild that probably won't change much over the years.
Yeah.
We want to build game from the ground up and become something quite new and different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I kind of saw this coming because Saturday was huge. So I
Yeah.
think we're going to have another conversation.
Well, it is a full day, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've got to
We've
talk
gone to
about battle,
hours.
which we are just so eager to
I feel
froth
like we should have a
about.
separate battle episode.
Yeah, well, because there's so much goes on.
I don't think it'll last as long for Sunday.
Oh yeah, because Sunday lasted how long?
Half
were
an hour,
oh
maybe
my
40
God.
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was anyone that was there knows how brutal that was.
Well, the Druge gave us a kicking of the arse, so we wanted to up it, and I
Yeah,
think
but-
we took it too
Yeah,
far.
but at least we won.
Spoilers for
Alright.
Sunday.
Yeah,
It was-
maybe we should leave
sorry.
that for Sunday, really.
I meant to say that we did in fact at the end of the battle kill the general, some Dornish.
Yeah, I think we got
Neofolk
all
them,
objectives, perfect victory, I
which was
believe.
beautiful. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening this week. I think we'll call
Thank
it there.
It was fun having our first battle froth
Froth
together.
episode, yeah, absolutely. And we should be back next week with more on Saturday. And then depending on how much, I've got a lot to talk about on Saturday as well. So maybe
Saturday
2 more episodes.
evening was a bit more of a wind down for me. I've got a couple of things to talk about.
I was busy. I nearly met some important people. I was doing busy stuff on Saturday.
But we'll keep that for next
But
episode.
we'll keep that little spice for next time. Thank you for listening. Thanks for joining us, Emma, once again.
Thank you.
um,
I'll be back again for Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
And then
And
Sunday,
Sunday.
hopefully.
And then Sunday.
Yeah.
And then we'll see you all later. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.